When I learned that Ludington, Michigan, where I planned to go visit my dad and stepmom, was going to have temperatures of 0 degrees and wind chills well below, and that there was a winter weather storm warning in effect, I decided that it would be a good practice run for driving to Alaska in February, and that I would go ahead and make the trip. I am certainly glad I wasn't on the other side of the expressway during this part, and it did get very sketchy at times. Of course, I might not deal with the same traffic on the way up to Alaska, but the weather could be even more extreme. I am a bit concerned about the fact that my truck does not seem to be starting well. I'm not sure if it's the starter or the battery, but I assume it's one of those things, and I have the sneaking suspicion that it is the starter. But I'll start by switching out the battery. We'll see if it gets better, and I don't think that is an issue that I should allow to persist on the drive to Alaska in February. Unfortunately, it's just another thing that I will probably need to drop money into before I start that drive. Ironically, I very recently spent money replacing the starter in my van before selling the van for exactly the same amount I was going to before I replaced the starter. I wish I could, for once, simply stick with one vehicle and not alter it. Although the F-150 on which I am very much underwater was not the vehicle I would have chosen. Finally, I did arrive in Ludington safe and sound after a slightly more harrowing experience than I expected. My dad was out plowing the road with his tractor the day I arrived, and the next morning he got up well before 8 a.m. to start shoveling again. This is because he was actually expecting a shipment, not by me, but by a trucking company sending a less than load pallet of all things, solar panels. And the window of time that he was given was anywhere between 8 a.m. and 6 p.m. So he was out at 7:45 in the morning shoveling the snow and stuck with it all day long until he finally got a call from the truck driver saying that he was getting close.
Yeah, we can work it out. It's on a pallet, right? On a pallet. And what's the width of it? 8 foot? 8 foot. Oh, okay. So you don't have equipment to get it onto the lift gate to get it down to me.
Up until this point, my dad had been told by the company selling the panels and the trucking company that the driver would arrive prepared to put the item on the lift gate and place it at the end of the driveway. So this conversation with the driver was the first time that he was hearing otherwise.
Boy, no, I don't have that. I have a John Deere tractor with a snowplow on it. I was thinking it was going to come down on the lift gate, and then I push it into the garage. I got it upstairs. Man. Yeah, okay. I'll get my tractor out and okay, so
I cannot express how much I admire the way that I saw my dad handle this situation. He had been shoveling the snow almost constantly for almost 8 hours at this point in 0-degree weather to make sure that he on his end was absolutely prepared to make things as easy as possible for the driver. And instead of getting mad, he continued to focus on making sure that things went as smoothly as possible.
There's a light there, right onto Bobby, and then down to.
He almost didn't let his anger present itself whatsoever to the driver. He kept his tone friendly, and he was a master at playing the gentle but firm card. The driver had suggested that maybe the load would need to go back out the following day on a different type of trailer, and he said, nope, that cost an extra $750, and we're not going to do that. We'll make it work. The way that my dad handled that phone call may have changed the entire tone of the delivery and the experience for not only him, but me, the driver, and everybody else. We started to focus on getting ready to pull the pallet to the back of the truck, since it didn't sound like the driver was equipped to move the pallet on his own to the back of the truck and the liftgate. We also prepared a space in the garage for Plan B, which was to unload each individual solar panel by hand off of the pallet and into the garage.
Everything, so then these guys, when they call, they're sure, and they need a forklift and this and that. What? $750 more. So he sounds like he's amenable to let it move around the truck. So I want to be right here, and they know it's just going to take longer than most offloads. Knows that?
Yeah.
But we have to take a picture of it on the truck.
Okay. You just tell me what you want me to photograph.
See if there's any obvious damage. Take a picture of that while it's on the truck. So you see that it was damaged when it came. Otherwise, once we take it off the truck, we could have dropped it, we could have done anything, right? So it sounds like the solar company is very careful about documenting everything so they don't get stuck, Well, you're certainly damaged goods, right? It was okay when they scanned it in, it was okay. But if you do it after something, the truck comes, so it was okay. No damage. I think we're going to take them off one.
So there are 10 of them.
10 panels plus the mount.
I guess I should have expected it since I've known the guy my whole life, but I was just so impressed by my dad's attitude and his focus on making things easier for the driver, and his concern with the fact that this offload might take longer than the typical offload. And knowing that the driver was coming up through this winter weather, he wanted it to go as smooth as possible, genuinely to give the driver the best possible experience, knowing that he would want to get home, want to get back on the road, or whatever. And thankfully our driver was a super nice and helpful person. He didn't talk a whole lot during the process. He was right to business and almost could have been perceived as unfriendly, but I think there was a very nice guy in there. It was not filming, so let me go around it one more time. I took the driver's few words as simply very professional. He stepped back quickly when I went around to film and didn't object to anything that we needed to do on our end. He was just about getting things done, but being very polite, though a little bit curt in the process.
Because we were waiting for you in a nice warm van.
Usually the guys that load this in the morning, one of them in particular, with a long thing like this, he'll have our long pallet jack in the trailer. Because when I trailer.
Though I really did barely anything to assist with the delivery, my dad and stepmom thanked me profusely for helping to push the pallet onto the lift gate, which we were able to use after all, with me helping to push the item on. After that, it was simply a matter of cutting it open and getting everything unloaded on our own. So all in all, it was very interesting to just see the process from the customer's end, since I've been on the other end for so long. I really respected and admired the fact that my dad did not blame the driver or even express his frustration to the driver, more than a very slight knee-jerk reaction. And the truth is that from what I've seen in the industry, it's almost never the driver's fault. The driver usually wants to get things done as quickly, efficiently, and correctly as possible. When I make a mistake, when my business makes a mistake, it is the driver's fault, but that's just because the owner of the business is also the driver. Our driver also did an amazing job of staying calm and professional despite the difficult weather and the fact that somebody at the warehouse hadn't loaded the proper pallet jack. And overall, this was an excellent experience.